road course of this season. Here at Barber Motorsports Park, the green flies, and Grosjean leads this star-studded field of green.
Great start from Romain Grosjean, side by side behind him as Pato O'Ward tries to go on the outside of Alex Palou, and I think he's going to pull that off. He'll have a great run on Grosjean now into 5.
Oh, Palou's looking good here with a run already. No push to pass, but he has the draft going to the brake zone.
And he's on those softer compound tyres. He said they should work well. And Grosjean runs wide. It opens the door not only for O'Ward, but for Palou. Look at this, wheel to wheel on the opening lap. Grosjean's got the better line and keeps the lead.
Oh, and Palou snuck it inside Pato O'Ward, so Palou was patient but pounced when it mattered.
The patience I love there is out of Pato O'Ward. It would have been so easy for him to just turn in after he was cleared by Romain Grosjean, with Palou just sneaking in there side by side now through the chicane. That's a tough place to do that.
Pink car with Simon Pagenaud on the green and black machine, Callum Ilott. Oh, wheel to wheel through there, that almost doesn't work.
That's Callum Ilott and David Malukas, two young stars going at it on the first lap.
Look for that Joseph Newgarden move on the inside of 16 here. Callum Ilott keeps it tight, doesn't give David Malukas the chance. Some great action here.
That was on board very quickly with the 1Q Honda of Graham Rahal, a two-time podium place getter here. Is Will Power fighting with the green, black, and blue Honda, the Gainbridge machine of Colton Herta.
Yeah, that yellow and black car of Colton Herta just made the move on Will Power to go up one spot. All three Team Penske's cars on the harder black tire as Power counters back.
Is there contact? That was close, really close. That was that turn 5 I was telling you about earlier, one of the key spots.
That shows the difference between those red sidewall tires, the alternates. They're softer, more grip that Colton Herta has on. You see the black sidewall primaries that Will Power has as we ride on the Verizon on board right now. That grip really helping Colton there.
You can see Colton with great power down, but that's on lap 2. Just wait, everybody, because in about 10 laps, everything should flip-flop. The harder compound black tire should really come into its prime.
And because of this strategy, question mark, 2 stops or 3. If you're the cars out front, you want to go to the 2-stop. That's your ideal strategy right now. But to do it, you got to save fuel. Alex Palou, one of the best in the biz at doing it. He is pressuring Romain Grosjean right now, trying to force him to use more.
Marty?
A little further back, Joseph Newgarden gained 1 spot on the start, but he has said something is wrong with the car. At first, he told Tim Cindric, it feels like my right rear is losing air pressure. They told him that actually is fine, and then he said something is definitely wrong.
Oh, Marty, excuse me, there's a move for the lead. Alex Palou inside turn 5. Grosjean doesn't want to have anything to do with it. They're wheel to wheel down this mid-pack straight. And Grosjean's going to prevail again.
And I promise you, Grosjean's inside the cockpit going, dude, what are you doing? We've got to be able to save some gas if we're going to make this on 2 stops. But Palou is pouncing.
Meanwhile, Pato O'Ward in 3rd place is sitting there thinking, yeah, guys, go ahead, go at it, burn that fuel. I'm going to sit back here and save what I need, as Palou again right up on the gearbox.
And Newgarden is on pit road. First Team Penske car in. Marty?
Yep, and I think you're going to see the Chevys kind of come early here, especially the Team Penske cars. You might see the McLaren cars follow suit. Newgarden was asked about that right rear. He said it's not ideal, but I can live with it for the rest of the day. You see those alternate tires going on, sticker alternates for Joseph Newgarden, Kevin.
The plan had been a 2-stopper and try to save for Felix Rosenqvist, but it now go as fast as you want to go. He had already gotten by 4 more cars. He comes in. He's done with the alternates, if he likes, on primary Firestones and shell fuel. Rosenqvist back out.
Hey, Marty, I'm a little surprised to see Newgarden come in on blacks. I would have thought that would be the stint to run long on.
Yeah, and I think that was the thought originally, you know, and I've got to wonder if this suspension damage has something to do with it. No caution at the start as well, Townsend, which the Chevy teams kind of needed. But remember, it's going to depend on how well Newgarden's car handles, but they used this strategy last year. They were in a perfect spot. Looked like they were going to win the race and strategy-wise until the caution came out and caught them out. So Newgarden trying to play that same play in the playbook this year.
Rossi in.
Kevin Lee standing by. He's coming your way, Kev.
And Alexander Rossi really liked his car this morning in the warm-up. Keep in mind, this is his first road course appearance for this team. So while he's been on the streets, it's a little bit different. He was cautiously optimistic they were going to be good. Feels better as the weekend goes along. And he can go hard now and with some clean track, try to make up some time and hope it stays green at the right times.
Guys, I wonder, with Rossi also taking the blacks off, I wonder if they're looking at the pace of the leader. Grosjean seems to be hanging on fine, doing high 109s right now, 15 laps into the stint. He's halfway there if he's on a two-stopper. Maybe everybody's saying, hey, the red looks like it's the tire to have now. That wasn't the case this morning during warm-up.
No, it's still tough to know because these tires, they can just hit a cliff after 20 laps where the lap time falls off significantly, and then you'd have to hang on for 9 or 10 more before you could come in to switch onto the primaries. But right now, Alexander Rossi, Felix Rosenqvist, as we see McLaughlin in the pits now. As you said, Marty, all these Penske's are doing this three-stopper, looking for that clean air and fast lap times.
Speaking of Newgarden, you can just see in the helicopter shot that blue and white PPG car on the press, working the three-stop strategy. Here he is, up behind a struggling Rinus VeeKay. He'll get another one. Marty, this is exactly what they want, being able to move through traffic on the three-stop strategy.
I mean, at times, Townsend, Joseph Newgarden has been 2 seconds faster than the leader. So this is where the three-stop strategy pays off. And usually when you hit traffic, you kind of slow down. Newgarden hasn't slowed down. He's still cutting through traffic right now. He has gained about 10 spots since he came out, and those on the two-stop strategy coming in about 2 to 3 laps.
Here's the thing about the drivers on the three-stop strategy. Yes, you stop an extra time. Yes, you're racing faster, but the downside, James Hinchcliffe, is it is physically brutal.
So much harder driving 10/10ths for the entire race rather than fuel saving. As we said, Colton Herta, he had to bail, Marty, a couple laps shy of what he wanted.
I mean, begging to come in, coming in early on the two-stop window side. He gets those primary tires, those fresh primary tires, waiting on fuel a little bit. Herta leads, so this will open the window for the two-stoppers.
Joseph Newgarden getting rid of Simon Pagenaud, now up to 8th. And when you think about it, this is essentially what he's running. Everybody in front has 2 stops to make. He has 2 stops to make, so he's going to have a lot more fuel to burn in those next 2 stints. So this is shaping up real nice for Joseph Newgarden.
But if this is where Newgarden really needs to make hay, is when everybody starts to peel off for the pit lane on the two-stop strategy. Newgarden up ahead has clean air. Watch the pace the next 2 or 3 laps from Newgarden. It's going to be ferocious with a full send mentality.
Here's Christian Lundgaard, Dave Burns.
Lundgaard is in, and now they are going to put on their alternate reds, the fresh set, so that will suffice for their day. Gets those primaries off there. He was the only one in that top dozen who was running in the primaries. Also on reds in that first group, going backwards though, was Rinus VeeKay, and so now they will go to their Firestone primary tires. VeeKay was only complaining about the loss of speed based on the degradation on that first set.
Released is the Bitnile Chevy, the Ed Carpenter Racing driver, the 21-year-old Dutchman. Out he goes again. That last portion of that opening stint was rough going for him.
Remember, he was battling with Colton Herta earlier. Where's Colton Herta? This is one of the blend battles we'll be watching. There goes Rinus VeeKay. Here comes Colton Herta on hot tires. So there you see what the over-under looks like on when they pit. On board here with Herta, VeeKay just up ahead.
That's VeeKay ahead on cold tires, 4 position.
4 position, these in-laps and out-laps are what it's all about in these sequences, and Colton Herta a little bit wide there in turn 5 as Pato O'Ward and Scott Dixon are in the pits. 2 of the leaders, Kevin, have come to pit lane.
Pato O'Ward said the tire deg was not bad. He made it work, getting to the lap he needed, 29. He's going to primaries this time. Marty, there's Scott Dixon right around him.
Working lap 30, Scott Dixon comes in and knitted. Boy, those alternates were a handful. Look at that, 3 turns of front wing going to the primaries for Dixon. He feels like this has been their strength the entire weekend. Watch him on this run. Kyle Kirkwood also, look at that battle off pit road.
How about that? Dixon on the attack of O'Ward. There's David Malukas. He's going to be right in the middle of this. And watch this run down to turn 5, both on those cold tires. First lap out of the pits. This is the part of the track where Pato O'Ward sealed the deal for his victory a year ago, and he's able to stay a couple of car lengths ahead of Dixon.
I wonder what Pato O'Ward is thinking, looking in his mirrors, knowing full well how mad Dixon still is about Long Beach. Dixon's been on him the whole race. Still 60 laps for Dixon to just prowl back there and wait for his chance.
Guys, you rarely want to look in your mirror and see Scott Dixon. If you're Pato O'Ward today, it's the last person you want to see. Just knowing what's happening is now Dixon's having to defend against Christian Lundgaard, who's on those alternate tires. Christian needs to pounce now if he's going to make this swap stick,
That's
and
for
the leaders
position.
are in.
That's for position. Here is Grosjean.
29 laps in the books. Romain Grosjean has led every one of them so far. Those primary tires going on. Alex Palou at the front end of pit road going to primaries as well. We'll see the race here. Look at that. A long stop for the 10. Ericsson also in, and Grosjean with a good jump here on pit road.
There's Grosjean. Here comes Alex Palou. There's Pato Award. That's close. Super close between the Ganassi and the McLaren.
Oh, this is going to be spicy down to turn 5, Townsend, side by side through 4, Palou in the marbles.
Pato's got the advantage, hot tires, and Palou had to run wide through the dirty section of the track. So nice move from O'Ward. That puts a car between him and Scott Dixon.
That just shows the undercut really worked by pitting a lap sooner, getting out on those fresh primaries. They were able to overtake Pato O'Ward at least, Pato was able to overtake O'Ward.
Check this out, though. Christian Lundgaard, all of a sudden, this Rahal Letterman Lanigan Honda in the conversation with the likes of Ganassi and McLaren. Here comes Christian Lundgaard.
You got to be smart here. I know he wants to pounce, but there are cars battling for position in front. You don't want to make a move. Closing right up. Out of turn 13. Will he dive down the inside? Scott covers.
Dixon defends. He knows that Newgarden style move. And look at this. On the last turn, Lundgaard pounces and gets Scott Dixon. That's a savvy move.
That was a beautiful pass from
Job with
Christian
that. We still
Lundgaard.
need the fuel number.
Rico, his strategist, telling him, yeah, that was nice, but guys, we got to think big picture
Well,
here.
because Lundgaard pitted on lap 28 on the early side, so to make that stretch to the end, he's really got to figure out some ways to coast.
He just asked back to the team what number. He wants to know for sure, so he gets on it.
Yeah, that'd be a useful piece of information right now.
The number is a lot more conservative than what you're doing. Here's that slick move. Whoa.
Yeah, Dixon covered off the inside of turn 16 here, which kind of sacrificed. Look at that. He had to check up a little bit for Alex Palou, who was still getting up to speed on those cold tires. Perfect read from Christian Lundgaard.
I love Lundgaard's intelligence there to go wide, pick up the clean air. That was like an oval move, but in a right-hander.
Here's a replay from a couple of laps ago. David Malukas in the red, black, and white HMD Motorsports with Dale Coyne Racing Honda up against the man who has led 30 laps here today, Romain Grosjean. This was close between the 200 drivers at turn 5.
Didn't happen there, but David Malukas does get him later and is now running in front on the 3-stop strategy.
But that's important for Grosjean's team to remind him, hey, they're on a completely different strategy. They have to do it on pace. Don't get too caught up in defending here. Grosjean got caught up in defending right there, James.
He sure did, but David Malukas now down into turn 5. A little bit further alongside this time. Maybe a little bit of
That was a show of force.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened there last year late in the race? Grosjean and Graham Rahal got into it and hit not once, but twice. By the way, young David Malukas, Little Dave as he's now known, is running in the top 10 in the NTT IndyCar Series Championship points in his second year of competition.
Oh, look at that.
Teammates have swapped positions. McLaughlin gets ahead of Joseph Newgarden, and Newgarden looks like he's got his hands full with that PPG Chevy.
2 more
Lap
laps.
here, pit this lap.
Oh,
That's why. We saw it on the previous lap, and it was going away from him. Newgarden is in for the second of 3 stops.
well, he's got 2 more laps on his tires than McLaughlin. Marty, Newgarden bailing out of this one, coming in for freshies.
But all within the range of what they had planned to do all along. Newgarden has really struggled on the alternate tires, even though they're going to go to another set of alternate tires here. These are going to be scuffed alternate tires going on for Joseph Newgarden. I would expect this stint to be even shorter. Remember, he has that issue from earlier in the race with the right rear suspension, so you got to wonder if that is playing a part here in the handling as well for the 2 car.
Let's take a look at the replay of McLaughlin making the move on his teammate into that fast section. Newgarden really doesn't try to defend. Now, got to wonder, why is Newgarden going to use reds? That's because he only has to do 22 laps to make it to that window for his final stop, presumably on sticker blacks, as there is a stalled car, the 51 of Stingray Rob.
The Biohaven car has come to a stop. Is this going to bring out the first full course caution?
Did Tim Cindric see this happening and
Guys,
call
I'm
Newgarden
sorry,
in?
that was-
Alexander Rossi dives into pit lane. They're going to try to get here before that yellow comes, and Scott McLaughlin, the leader, in as well.
If you're a 3-stopper, you want to box right now.
Kevin, it was a caution last year that undid the three-stop strategy cars. Will it play in their favor today?
As we watch them come in, Scott McLaughlin, by the way, right before he passed Joseph Newgarden, was told, this is working, trying to explain the strategy to the drivers too. He said, we need to pick up another 8 seconds to make this work out to a win. McLaughlin out first, then Rossi in this group. Power follows.
This is pretty understandable. IndyCar said that if they know there's a pit sequence that we're in the middle of and the car is stopped offline in a safe place, the driver hasn't made contact with anything, they'll leave it green and let those cars go through the pits before the yellow comes. I assume it's still coming. Now, this isn't great for the three stoppers because they didn't have that full 30-second advantage they needed, but it's still not terrible.
Well, if the yellow comes out, then it stacks them up and they all just have to make one more stop. So
yeah.
I think it's good news. There's
There
the
it is.
caution.
So the trend continues, meaning the trend of no race here at Barber Motorsports Park in the NTT IndyCar Series has ever gone caution-free. And the stranded rookie of Stingray Rob, ready to go back to racing here at Barber. Grosjean will lead this
Green
field
flag,
to green,
green flag.
but how long will he stay in the lead? Here we go.
Pretty good jump from Grosjean. He only has to go about 17 more laps to make his last stop to get to the end. But McLaughlin will be pressing hard.
And it's the two guys who gave us that ultimate theater on the streets of St. Petersburg to start the year. McLaughlin and Grosjean going for the win again. Here's Alex Palou defending from Christian Lundgaard, and Lundgaard does the over and under beautifully.
Remember, no push to pass yet, and what a great move from Christian Lundgaard on those softer alternate tires to go around the 2021 Series champion. Great driving.
Think about what a relief it is for Rahal Letterman Lanigan to see that high V Honda up there and Lundgaard leading the charge for the team.
Good work there, young man.
Nice work there, young man. Yes, the 21-year-old Dane is flying. McLaughlin had an inside look there at Grosjean.
He's starting to get big eyes, Scotty Mack. He knows he's got a really good shot today. Watching that Team Penske number 3 really squirm around, though, behind Grosjean.
He does have those alternate tires on the number 3. The Delaware Life Honda is on the primaries. They are they?
They should be.
No, because he started on primaries.
Here we go.
You're right.
So if
But
they're
then
used reds, he has to go to reds.
But then he's 3-stop.
No,
Here we go. Look at this. Way out wide at turn 5. That is a real hot spot for Romain Grosjean. Not only Graham Rahal, then David Malukas, and now Scott McLaughlin.
This is going to be a long battle. This is going to be a long 15 laps for Grosjean to hang on.
Here he is. That Delaware Life Honda is in. Great job, Romain Grosjean, Marty. He withstood quite a bit of pressure for a long time.
It has been a dominant performance, Diff. He has led all but 9 laps here at Barber Motorsports Park, pitting with 31 laps to go. 0 complaints when they were on the primaries. Can the crew deliver what should be the final stop of the day in quick fashion? They do, Kevin.
Pato Award comes in from third, just a few stalls behind him. So he makes it a 2-stopper. He's going to take a turn of front wing onto the primaries for the last stint.
So crucial now for Scott McLaughlin to push. We got to take a look at his lap times when he comes back around. Use the push to pass, use what's left of those alternate tires, and try to see if he can leapfrog Romain Grosjean.
McLaughlin has a pristine half racetrack to himself right now as Newgarden. I don't know how much longer he's going to hold off Scott Dixon and Will Power. They are ready to get by, urgent to get by.
And Alexander Rossi, the last car in that shot you see on the right. Felix Rosenquist is growing impatient as well. By the way, Christian Lundgaard pitted. Here's Dixon. Dixon on the inside of Newgarden. Whoa, just squeezes the PNC Bank Honda in there. And here, that causes a traffic jam. They're swamping Newgarden.
Keep going, you're fine.
Somebody.
Power's pitting.
Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Here I go. I'm coming through, and Will Power has dived for pit lane. No, he hasn't. He stays out.
He wants to stay out. He's a 3-stopper. He wants clean air right now with Dixon in the pit. So now Power has to make some magic happen and bust out incredible pace.
Alex Palou and Scott Dixon both coming down pit road here. They both were told to push at the end there. Going to be sticker primary tires for the Team Ganassi guys. You see almost a collision there with Kyle Kirkwood, who did a nice job getting to his stall, and around Palou he is in. We'll watch where all these drivers blend out.
So Lungo already went through that shot there, well ahead of Scott Dixon, as you would expect him to be where he stopped last time. Well ahead of the PNC Bank Honda.
It's about a 27-second. I know we kind of used 30 as the round number, but it's a 27-second loss on pit lane right now. Romain Grosjean 27.4 seconds behind Scott McLaughlin. This is it right now. McLaughlin was the fastest car on track last time by. He has got to make this one work.
You're saying we're going to see St. Petersburg all over again.
It quite literally will be exactly the same. The benefit Scott McLaughlin has, you see him on the push to pass, the blue lights on the side of his dashboard. He is pushing now. He might be coming in, but he'll have a slightly shorter stop with less fuel having to get in.
And here's what they have to contemplate. McLaughlin's got enough fuel to go, but there's lap traffic ahead, so they might have to come in earlier than they wanted because he'll have to slow down if he's trapped, Marty.
Newgarden's in. He's coming your way, Marty. So
Boy,
too is
Joseph
Ericsson.
Newgarden so happy to get here to pit road, get some fresh Firestones on. Marcus Ericsson having a very quiet but nice day running around the 8th position. You see all those wing adjustments for those tires. We'll see where these guys cycle out, and should be the Team Penske cars that were leading up front coming in just a moment.
Dixon easily by Newgarden. No worries there. That goes per plan as they were when they pitted, respectively. Here's McLaughlin in. Race leader is in. Now we put our eyes on Romain Grosjean. And watch where these two guys come out. One Honda driver, one Chevrolet driver, where they join on the racetrack. Kevin, here comes McLaughlin.
It should be really close, and I think you guys are right. I think this is a lap or two earlier than they wanted. They wanted to get a bigger gap. McLaughlin's car has been great. He's got primary Firestones to go to the rest of the way. No fuel save concerns, so he can go harder than Grosjean. And let's watch the blend as he heads back out on track.
Still on that pit stop speed
Backup
limiter.
player.
Pit exit is like going off a ski run right here. You go off and downhill, and here comes Romain Grosjean.
This is going to be good. McLaughlin comes out ahead, but on cold tires, and Grosjean is going to be pushing 100% for the next couple corners.
Turn
Use
5.
overtake whatever you want.
Turn 5, here we go, setting up. This is where the race was won a year ago with Pato Award and Rinus VeeKay from a long way back, but he's not close enough.
It's St. Pete, take two, guys, version 2.0. McLaughlin, one lap colder on tires. Grosjean on the button, doesn't quite have the run into turn 8 here, but it's not over yet. If McLaughlin can keep him behind through turn 16, he goes wide here. Not going to get it. It's a flat-out chicane they're heading to. God, this is as close as you want, Townsend.
Tough to make a move, especially going into the fastest and gnarliest section right here. Watch McLaughlin up ahead, drop into the valley.
Romain Grosjean's got to do a Joseph Newgarden-style move. Inside opportunity coming up. Can he get his car tight to the right? Tight to the right. No, McLaughlin blocks that.
Watch him try to cross it up and make it happen right here.
Oh, inside. Romain Grosjean wheel to wheel with Scott McLaughlin for the lead.
Fantastic stuff.
That's the kind of move you want to see. Aggressive but calculated. And Scott McLaughlin gave him just enough room to pull it off. The 28 to the point.
So 19 laps to go here at the line for Grosjean. And we always make a lot of Team Penske's strength on pit lane, and thanks to NTT, we can take a look back on that last round of stops and compare McLaughlin and Grosjean on pit time differential. The advantage was to Grosjean on the in-lap, but time on pit lane, Team Penske did really well. Grosjean strong on the outlap. The advantage to Grosjean, just a tick, 4/10 to the good, thanks to NTT, as Grosjean goes way wide.
Way wide. Oh, and almost comes back in. That turn 5 spot is a real handful for Grosjean. There's going to be a new race leader. His name is Scott McLaughlin.
With no push to pass left, there was absolutely nothing Romain Grosjean could do. Scott got on the button, easily cleared him into turn 8, and to the lead go the Thirsty Threes.
With 21 seconds to push to pass, and you got to think Grosjean's heart just sunk there.
Yep. Is it going to be second again for Romain Grosjean? He's come so close multiple times. 19 laps to go. It'll be 18 this time by.
I'm still trying to figure out where all those push to pass seconds
when
went
did he
to.
use
Like,
them?
I think Grosjean's a bit confused.
So
Here's how it happened.
Into turn 5, just got in hot. You saw that left front just starting to lock. sends him to the outside.
And at this point, he might be all right still if he had the push to pass to defend, but with nothing left, you're really a sit and duck.
And Romain Grosjean is going to be absolutely kicking himself for that move. If Scott McLaughlin just got a good run out of 2 and had the push to pass, that's one thing. But because it comes from a mistake on the driver's side, as a driver, you know, Townsend, from inside the cockpit, you never want to lose a position because of a mistake like that. And unfortunately, it was the position that Romain Grosjean lost. Very, very unfortunate. But good on Scott McLaughlin for capitalizing.
Scott McLaughlin got a comfortable lead. The pressure is all on Romain Grosjean.
The other thing to take into account, Scott McLaughlin in first, Will Power in third on that 3-stop strategy. They've been pushing flat out this whole race. That takes a physical toll. The 2-stoppers, saving fuel, it takes a little bit of the physicality away from this racetrack, which is absolutely at the top of the physical scale. So those Penske drivers, they're going to be sore, they're going to be tired, they're going to be wore out with only a handful of laps to go.
16 seconds of push to pass left for Will Power.
How and when? Or does he take the conservative route and grab this third spot? I don't think so. I think he'd like to get that and make it a Team Penske 1-2.
You use a good burst out of turn 17 on the front straight to close the gap up to turn 1, and then out of turn 2, you hammer it. It's the white flag they're coming to. His run down into turn 5 is going to be his last real good shot to make this happen, Townsend. I think this is what he's got to do. He's got to do it now.
He's got to get closer, though.
Scott McLaughlin begins the final 2.3 miles with a comfortable lead. He got his first IndyCar Series win last year on the streets of St. Petersburg. Followed it up with 2 road course victories at Mid-Ohio and at Portland. So this will be his 4th career win and 4th different circuit.
Grosjean doing a perfect job to just maximize the radius, keep that mid-corner flow up, and just kind of glide his way through the corners, watching his mirror the whole time. At this point, it would take a small miracle for Power to close that gap.
Scott McLaughlin was going for the win at St. Petersburg, and it didn't happen with that late race collision with Romain Grosjean. At Texas, he finished 6th, a top 10 at Long Beach. Not quite ideal. Today, the picture of speed and consistency. New Zealand motorsport fans will celebrate because their man here is bringing it home. Scott McLaughlin wins at Barber Motorsports Park and makes it 4 different winners. 4 different winners to start this year. And McLaughlin says the thirsty threes to the moon, boys. That's what he calls his crew. The thirsty threes. He pipped his teammate yesterday in qualifying, Joseph Newgarden, to make the Firestone Fast 6 with a just dynamic last lap to make the cut. And he's done it here for the victory for the first time at this racetrack in spectacular style.
So Ben told you after the checkered flag, how much better was that to be on offense all day long in that 3-stop strategy versus saving fuel?
I call it a happy driver strategy. I was a lot happier doing that, but I'm so thankful. First weekend for Good Ranchers on the car. What an amazing thing for them to be with us this weekend. My team advanced me to victory lane there. We had great fuel. Went past Grosjean there on a little bit of strategy, advanced past him, and I feel really good about it. So really happy to advance to victory lane and be really pumped about it.
I want to ask you about the battle with Grosjean. Was St. Pete in the back of your mind thinking, man, I got to give him a lot of room. I don't want to run into him again.
Nah, we're racers. You just get on with it. You know, as good as your last race, you get on with it. We're men. We talked over man to man, and as far as I'm concerned, and he's concerned, we race hard and fair and press on, and there's no hard feelings between the two of us. But I'm glad to get a win here for 33s. Like, it's been coming. We've been close. We just didn't quite get it the last few rounds, but we got it now.
Boy, these numbers may shock you, but +6 in the championship standings, now 4th, just 11 out of the championship, and the month of May starts tomorrow. How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, May is going to be an awesome time for us. I can't wait. Best race in the world's coming up here soon, and to start end April like this and start May hopefully on a good note is a really proud achievement. But just super proud of my team, the Chevy for the fuel mileage. We had a hell of a strategy there today, and Yeah, super pumped. Hey, Mum and Dad at home, Carly at home as well, and see you guys soon.
I got to tell you that your Good Ranchers, first race with them, they're going bananas here in Victory Lane. You got a lot of Cowboys that are happy.
Well, they had a lot of Cowboys last night having a few drinks. I know that for sure. Hopefully they've got enough juice to have another party tonight.
Scott McLaughlin picks a very good time to get his first top 5 of the year. It's a win at Barber Motorsports Park.
Watch the GMR Grand Prix Saturday, May 13th at 3:30 p.m. on NBC.